Hey guys, it's Laura Davos here. Welcome to day 5 of Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot. So this prompt is what the tarot has taught me in the last 10 years. I want to widen the scope of that to my entire life because as a child I spoke to spirits. I had an ancestor spirit that was my not so imaginary friend. Uh, and we actually have very intertwining kind of I think soul journeys is what I'll call it. Growing up in domestic violence, I of course became a statistic, and I had a boyfriend attempt to kill me. It's part of the reason why I left Mobile and moved to Houston. So she actually, unfortunately, was murdered by a boyfriend. Really weird synchronicity there. These men who abused us, both of their fathers were police officers. Um, take that as you will. It's a synchronicity. It means something to me, but I definitely feel like the tarot has brought me closer to being more receptive. I don't know that I will ever be as receptive as I was as a child. I don't know that I will ever speak to spirits again. That's all just kind of like it let come what may. I am more comfortable with my spirituality and my gift, and I've really come to appreciate my empathic ability through use of the tarot. The tarot has also built my confidence up because before it's like you can't find a tether to stick to lead you to where you're trying to go in just like fortune telling or anything like, and it wouldn't even be fortune telling at that point because I feel like for me I need a tether still. Like, and like, a lot of people are like, oh, tarot's just training reels for real psychics. And I hate people who say that because I guarantee you, I don't care if I'm already talking to spirits. I like my cards. I'm never going to give up my cards. I'm just not. I'm just not. So I definitely don't agree with people who feel that way about tarot. But I do feel like it has trained me. They're not training wheels, but the tarot does train you to be more intuitive and to be more receptive and to be more confident. Some other tools that I like to use the Lenormand. I like to use gypsies, and I'm learning Kipper and Gypsy right now. I've got a pretty good handle on Lenormand. I don't think I'm very good at it when I read it for myself, but when I read it for other people, I blow them out the fucking water every time. Every time they like at the nightclub because I use this Lenormand deck here because it fits in my little Altoids container. Everyone at work calls these my spooky cards, and everyone wants readings with the spooky cards. I don't even take my tarot to work anymore because. And then there's also something about. Hold on, I dropped some cards. There's also something about because like some people know like what the tarot is and what it does, and they've heard of the tarot before, but they have never heard of the Lenormand. And that piques their curiosity more because they're like, what is that? What do you mean? What is that? And so you do a reading, and it's like all they see is like a picture of a mouse, and a heart and a key. And it's like, oh, well, a loss of affection is, the key to your problems or, whatever. And, it's the mouse. It's close to you because whenever you pull through, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you can tell them, like, yeah, like, you could be able to get this affection back from this person. Just because, like, this is not, like, a permanent loss, right? Whenever it's the mice, it's not always a permanent loss. And they're like, damn, because, like, you gave them everything they needed to know, basically. Hold on, my cat's being really bad. I swear, Fred knows I'm leaving to go out of town. He fucking knows it because he has been so bad today. I'm going to have to make sure that, like, I put all of my chargers and wires and any electronics that he likes to chew on cords, so I gotta put those away. But anyway, yeah, they really, these kind of card reading systems, they really build your confidence. They really open your eyes to things. With the tarot specifically, that I really, really like is, you know, doing psychological stuff with it. And like, you know, being someone who suffers from PTSD, you know, due to the domestic violence trauma in my past, you know, it has brought me such great peace to journal and to meditate on certain cards. And I just, I especially love Kim Kranz's Archetypes deck for that. And that's an oracle. That's not even, and it's completely new to me. And there's just something about the images that I can really, Kim Kranz is just amazing. Let me just stop there because I could gush about her decks for forever. But even so, like in a deck that I recently got, I've been going back and forth on the Marielle. I don't want the second edition. I much prefer the original, like Priestess and Hierophant. I prefer the originals. As creepy and weird as they are, that's kind of what draws me to the Marielle. I got the last first edition that I could from my witchy store because I figured that was the last, and I dropped the book. I knew that that would be the last opportunity I'd have to get this deck. What I've been doing with this deck, I haven't done any readings with it. I haven't even read the little book. All I've been doing is, like, especially if I've had a rough night at work, I come home and I just look through the cards and I just look at the art. I just connect with the images. And sometimes, like, I get stuck on a card and I just really stare at it. Like, my eyes get stuck to it and I'm just like, a feeling kind of washes over me, like, depending on what kind of mood I'm in, you know, and like which card I happen to stick on as I'm just kind of enjoying the artwork on it. And that's kind of another thing that, like, I just got this, but part of me doesn't even want to read the little white book, and part of me doesn't even want to do tarot with it. I just want this to be like one of my art gallery decks, like my personal art gallery. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's until I have time to really dedicate to that system and her artwork and what she has to say about her work. That's what I use the Marielle for. And it's, even without journaling, even without really meditating on the cards, like for a long period of time, just using specifically that deck, and there's a few others that I like to do that for. The I want to get a bigger edition for that reason of the Harris Crowley Thoth, because Lady Frida Harris's work is just, I can get lost in it, and it's another one of those decks that I flip through when I've had a bad evening. So, anywho, the tarot has really taught me how to self-soothe as someone with a mental health disorder. It has taught me how to, well, you know, not necessarily like completely taught me how to self-soothe. I was working on self-soothing, like self-soothing mechanisms before I got the tarot. But once I got the tarot, it was one more tool in my box that I could whip out when I was flashbacking or when I'm, you know, just anxious. And like, I sometimes rage when I'm anxious, and that's, I don't like that energy at all. And sometimes going through a tarot deck, especially going through the cups, if I feel like I've got too much fire, I'll flip through the cups, you know, something like that. Just incorporating the tarot into mental health is like, there's boundless possibilities in that interaction together. I think that tarot decks and, you know, Lenormand, Kipper, Gypsy, all that stuff, I feel like it does tap into something. You know, anyone who likes Jung will say that, you know, the tarot taps into the collective unconscious, right? I don't know what it's tapping into. I don't know what these cards tap into when I use them. I know that they're tapping into the same thing because across all these decks, if I ask all these decks the same question, I will get somewhat similar answers. So they're all tapping in to the same thing. I just don't know what that thing is, but I'm very curious to learn more about it. And these tools are very multifaceted. They are as multifaceted as you are, like however you prefer to read, however you prefer to use them. Like, I think meditation and journaling is a really wonderful way to use the tarot as well as divination. And like, I do everything. And I've learned a lot about divination and like how to read people's fortunes and how to kind of ease people into a reading if they're a little unsure about it or if they're a little reluctant. Like, and I've really learned. I don't even know if you could say learned. I've really adapted myself to be more receptive so that I can give, good readings. Because if you're not receptive to the images and the messages you're getting, it's really hard to get anything going. Like whenever I first started reading, I felt very like a fish out of water. But something that I like about the tarot is that I usually lay out 3 cards, and like it always feels like I'm fishing for the answer, but I'm not the fisherman. I'm the fish trying to get caught by the answer. All right, it's a little bit more strange in that way. I feel like the tarot is the line that the fisherman has cast to catch the fish, and I'm trying to find a line, right? The first card might not tell me anything new. It might just tell me something I already know about the querent or something that the querent already knows about their situation. And then I hit that second card and I start getting reeled in and I'm talking and I'm talking. I'm just kind of like, I'm getting it. Like the water is rushing through my little fishy gills and I'm just sputting it out. And then sometimes the line breaks and I'm like, whoa, where'd it go? Right? Like, where to go? And then, you draw more cards and you hope that you can find that line again. And that's a magical experience in and of itself. So I'll stop rambling before we hit 15 minutes because I don't want it to be 15 minutes long. That's kind of what the tarot has taught me. That's kind of how I've adapted and how I see reading the tarot to be. And I hope that you gleaned some really insightful information from this. And that one of the biggest things I learned from being psychic as a child and doing tarot now is that I don't know how to say this. People are very intimidated. People can get scared of your gift. And sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad thing. But it is intimidating to people whenever they know that you can do something that they can't, that is hard to explain and that they might not understand at all. And yet you are doing it and they can't explain how you're doing it and they can't do it. But, then they're scared after that. Like I've had, people ask me if I read their cards without them knowing. And I'm like, no, like, why would I do that? Like, should I? Should I do that? Are you hiding something from me? And then they're like, no, I was just curious. And it's like, are you thinking things about me that you shouldn't be thinking? Like, I don't know. I don't know. But like, it's really funny that like people get paranoid about people with a gift or an ability like this. So that's, I don't know. I think it's something that a lot of tarot readers will be able to connect with. So until tomorrow, happy dabbling and bye-bye.